Hey everybody, I'm back. So sorry about that, but my camera died. As those of you who've been watching my last several tutorials, it just dies. And I still had battery and some memory left. Anyway, so this is where we left off, okay? Down here, I had wrapped this design element that I added down here, and the camera stopped here, and I didn't notice that until just a little bit after I did these. So I had connected these two swirls with half round wire, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to really try to stay on this 10. I'm sorry, I just have to laugh at myself. I tell you, some people are just naturals at this recording stuff, and I'm just not. I liked the full screen a lot. So here's some really good news. I didn't want to spend the money, but I had to. And I am now converting from Android to iPhone. And I hope to God I don't freak out. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to wrap my half round wire around these two really pretty swirls. And I want to see where I tied off on this one. I tied on the inside. Yeah, just want to follow my same pattern. Okay. So, anyways, I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. Everybody that uses iPhone says, oh, it's so easy. But, I'm going from Android of, 10, 15 years with an Android. I think my first phone was a Sprint flip phone. And then I got an iPhone. It was an itty bitty thing. Okay. So now, did I mess up there? I did. I wanted to tie off. Let me see. No, I'm going to tie off here. No, that's right. So I'm just wrapping. This wire's way too long, so I'm going to get rid of some of it. I'm going to wrap 2 wraps around the bottom. Then we're going to finish off our bottom design here. And I just saw a lot of things as I was doing this and loved what I was seeing and how I'm going to change it up next time. Then this one, I'm going to rock until it snaps off. And then I'm going to press it down. So this won't be very long, thank God. And then we'll be making our little tiny bell. Now I want to show you something really cool before we finish off the bottom. I was playing with these and turning them around, and check that out as the earring. I personally like it this way better. So next time I'm going to flip it. And basically this would be down here or no bead at all. It would be beautiful without a little bead. But I may still modify these, but for right now we've started off this way. So I want to follow through with the project. So down on the bottom here, I cut the wire. It was really long in the first video, so I cut it. They're matched up pretty darn good to me. And now what I'm just going to basically do is I'm going to swirl this in. And so you might want to cut your wire to where it's level with your outside frame wire, and that I'm thinking should be enough. And I'm not sure if I want to curl it all the way in or curl it through, so I'm going to play, and I'm going to sit down. I wish I could see over my camera, but I can't, so I keep telling myself, stay right here on this 10, right, you guys? Am I staying on the 10? I'm just cracking up at myself today. Sorry. I don't want to use those. Sorry about the arms and the, so I am going to smash that tip again. Okay, I'm going to do it a little bit more. That's better. And let me make sure these are the same length. This one looks like Might be a little bit longer. I don't know. Let me see where it hits the frame. Okay, am I staying in center? I looked at professional video cameras. Oh my gosh, you guys. Very expensive. I'm not doing that. I'm not monetized on YouTube. My goal is to hopefully someday make a little bit of tips, you know, from being monetized on YouTube. These people that have been doing this a long time and have 50,000, Lan, who has 250,000 followers. I would suspect she's pulling in several thousand a month on advertisements that they use off of her page, because she gets several thousand views a day. So that ought to tell you where one can go with this. So I just want to look at that. So what I'm going to do, my thought is to curl it in. So I want to see what that looks like first, and then I'll make my mind up from there. And I'm just holding my frame, grabbing at my tip, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a curl at first to see what I think. I'm liking that. So let's go ahead over here and do the same thing. All right, this is what I mean by a little bit at a time. That's how I keep symmetry, is doing a little bit at a time. So I'm liking that a lot. I like that 3D, that three-dimensional look. And it's because this wire is sitting on top of this wire. So this wire is kind of floating on top, and it's in a place where it's not going to get caught up. The hair is not going to get in it because it's inside the frame. Well, it shouldn't get in it, but you know, there's no guarantees. It's wire. That's why I tell people with my care instructions that I include with every design that people buy is to do all your household chores and grooming first before you put on your jewelry. So I'm really liking that. I'm going to sand that down a little bit. I kind of want to give it and I want a more rounded curl on that. Yeah, better. So what I'm going to do now, and we'll be done here in just a minute, and then I think I'm going to flip these tomorrow. I'm going to flip it around because we're going to make an itty bitty tiny bell so that you could actually turn it around and hang, oops, out of frame again, hang your bead from here. I really like it in this position, turned around, reversed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my handy dandy file, and I'm going to create like a hammered look simply with my nail file. Little tips, tricks, and techniques that will absolutely excite you and make your day. I never learned the filing from anyone. I never saw anyone do it except with a stainless steel file. I used to do fingernails, and I've done a lot of personal crafts. And one day I had a ton of nicks, and you know, I was just new, only a couple months into it. And I thought, I wonder if I could file those out. And by God, I did. And then it gave it kind of a flattened look. And I said, wow, I just love that. See that look compared to that? Okay, so let's do the same thing over here. And then we'll get the buffer. See how they're matte. I love them. I like these better even than these I did last night. Just a different look. Same concept, right? So we've got these. So let's look at the difference. They're very similar, but just different. You can go anywhere with these, honestly. It's an amazing thing. And this is the 6mm bead, and I think this is a 4 or 5. And this is Old Mine Kingman turquoise, very, very old, hand cut. Same jewelry store I worked at when I was 16 in Newport Beach, California. So very different, but not really. Okay, So let's get busy because you guys know I'm long-winded. I'm going to flatten that down and kind of push it in a little towards the body of the frame. So same thing over here. Flatten it down, and I'm just kind of pushing it in, kind of tilting it in a little so it's not sticking up. I don't want that curl to be sticking up. So I'm just kind of rocking it in. And by doing that, it also creates more dimension in the piece, you know, versus everything being perfectly aligned. Okay, how are we doing there? Am I staying in the middle? I'm trying, y'all, I'm trying. So now we have the option of either doing what we did here, which is wrapping, but I wrapped off, meaning that when I did this, I was continuous with my wire. Here I was coming in the opposite direction, so I used my wire to go around, meaning around this way. So I think instead of, you could do half round, but for me, I'm seeing something different. I am not going to weave that off. I am simply going to bend it over. Just straightening it up. You're not going to need that much wire, but to make life easy for yourself, leave it there because you got something to kind of hold on to. I'm going to use my number 1. That's all I need, and I'm very, very close to the frame. And I'm just going to use my hand, and I'm going to bend that all the way over and around the back. And then I'm going to pull it out. So do you see what I mean? That even though this is going to be intentionally the top of the earring, I could easily turn this around and put my ear hook here, which I'm going to do later, and drop my bead here. So I would simply just cut this out and do a new bead. And before I close this off in the back, I want you to see the back. I'm going to slide my bead on there. I really love that. I love it in this direction. So pretty. So what do you think? This way or this way? It's really personal choice, isn't it? So anyways, that's all we're going to do, you guys, and we're done. Then I'll show you how I make my hooks. So same thing here. I'm really, really close. And I'm just going to use my hand and bend that over the back. Look how beautiful those are. Aren't those beautiful? Now we're going to cut these. We don't need all this length back here. It's just going to be in our way. I'm just going to cut it here at first. Okay. I'm going to leave extra length until I decide when I add, because we're obviously not going to have that much length on these. I just flattened them against the frame. So you don't even have to roll them in. I just cut them and flattened them against the frame. You're not feeling anything. There's nothing sharp. And that's what we're going to be doing with these. But you're pretty much done. All you're going to do now is add a jump ring. I'm going to show you how I do. I make ear hooks many different ways as far as the design element. Like on this one, I did a little swirl. On these, I may not. I don't know. I've got some pre-cut jump rings because I've already twisted my 20 gauge square wire. And if you're new to my channel, twisted jump rings are really strong and hold up really well versus just doing a straight 20 gauge round as a jump ring. It's too soft. Not too bad on an earring, but I wouldn't be using a 20 gauge round wire jump ring on a bracelet to hold your components together. Wouldn't do it. So simply just going to close these off. And we'll make our hook really quick and we'll be done. So just want to show you how seamless this is when you have twisted jump rings. And once I oxidize and tumble, and I always do this, flatten. Put some pressure against that jump ring and I flatten it. Makes it even harder. But can you see the seam? And once it's oxidized, you won't see it at all. It almost looks like if it's been soldered. It's really cool. So I started doing that a long time ago because I noticed jump rings, when you're first starting out, you tend to use a much thinner wire, and they don't hold up when you're on bracelets and stuff. They really pull apart. On guys' bracelets, I'll do 16 gauge twisted jumps, and it's a really cool look. Aren't these beautiful? You guys, I love these, love these, love these. They're really, really pretty. I might sell them, I don't know. Maybe I will make another pair. They're both so pretty. Okay, so let's make an ear hook. And I happen to have a piece of 20 gauge wire right here. I need one more piece, but I'm just gonna make one for right now. And you really don't need more than 2 inches. And so since I've already bent this wire from before, let's go ahead and make a spiral earring hook. So you're just gonna turn your wire in, and since I've already softened this tip, it's giving me an advantage way ahead. I'm not having to do it now. And I'm gonna squeeze that in. If I can hold on to my squirrely little wire. So do you see how I flattened that tip? And then I'm just gonna do, it's kind of like a push-push. I'm rolling my wrist towards each other. Then I'm gonna squeeze that down. And I think that's good. I'm actually gonna hammer this, you guys. So let's do that. Then get our buffer. Trying to stay on the 10. Then what I'm going to do, I need to get my needle nose. Get this wire bent up a little bit so I can get it out of the way. Just going to bend it up. Should have something like that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to get your 6-step bell making pliers, and you want to use your number 1, your smallest. And you see how my spiral is sitting down. I got to stand up, you guys, because I can't see what I'm doing here. My spiral is in between steps 1 and 2, wires coming out the back. All you're going to do is push this wire over like that. So here's our spiral, and we're going to straighten that out. You got a little crooked. I was trying to do it in a different way than I normally do so I could show you. And he got a little bent. So I'm just going to bend him up. So your jump ring on your earring is going to go through here. And this is going to slip through here. Isn't that pretty? So now we're going to make the hook. And I guess I could leave that on there. It's really not in the way. I'm going to close this down a little bit. I'm spending way too much time on this. I make all sorts of different decorative designs for my ear hooks. Just going to close that down a little bit. Normally I wouldn't leave my jump ring in. I'll make my hooks first. So now I'm going to use the fifth step, okay? So I'm going to put this to where the spiral is facing me and the fifth step is facing away, and I'm swinging this wire around all the way into the earring. There you go. See what I mean? 2 inches is way too much wire. Okay, so that's that. So let me get back in here because I'm spending too much time on this hook. If you ever want to see a lot of different designs for decorative hooks, let me know. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this. I tend to like long earring hooks. You can make them as small as you want, as tiny as you want, big as you want. And then I have this little technique I like to do. I like to kick back that tail like that. And then I'm going to hammer it. I always hammer my ear hooks so that they don't bend out of shape. I hammer at the arc. So that holds up, and then I hammer the tail a little bit. By the time they're through the tumbler, these ends are super smooth and soft, but not everything's nice and firm. Now you can take your file. If you know somebody that I met one girl once in the 4 years I've been doing this that could only wear 22 gauge in her ear. I mean, it was, whoever did her pierced ears made the tiniest of holes so the poor gal could not get earrings in, and she didn't want to have them redone. So you can take this down to more of a point, okay? And then you can buff it, but everything I do goes in the tumbler. So let's put this beautiful earring together. Now I know I can cut this back now. See that? So I'm going to cut it to sit on the frame. And then I'm going to get my thick jawed pliers and I'm just pushing it into the frame. And do you see what I mean? Where you could just hang the bead this way. I'm definitely turning these around, you guys. I really like that look. And then I'm just going to slide my hook in. Hopefully I'm in the right direction. And I am. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? I really hope you enjoyed that. That's just one beautiful earring. And you can do so much with this. Hammer more wire, change the shape of your wire. I mean, the sky's the limit. By the way, everybody, please, if you do my work, please just give me the credit. You can just say design credit, DDLynn Designs, or feel absolutely free to share my tutorials on your Facebook or social media pages and tag me when you do. I'd really like that. I wish for all of you all that you wish for yourselves. May you have a wonderful, magical wire wrap day. Bye for now.